Good evening. Welcome back rather sooner than I expected to Trevor and his escapades in the air, his aeronautical escapades. I'm going to cover three things. In the original version I said two, but we're going to look at three things. We're going to look at him drinking, because a lot of people on my videos and on other videos have said he didn't really drink. And I've watched it very closely. And there was doubt in my mind. Yes, he goes, that water barely touches his lips. That's what we see. Seeing is believing. But we also have ears, and hearing is believing. And when the two contradict each other, we have problems. Let's just listen and watch him drink again. You notice the big gulp. Down it goes. I haven't tried to mimic that. I've tried to mimic it with a dry mouth and I can't, with an empty mouth, and I can't. I don't know anyone who can. That sound is distinctive of a large quantity of fluid being swallowed. But we see him. His lips barely touch. So what's going on? There's two obvious options: that he's managed to contain a large amount of water in his mouth and still do the lip movements without spilling any. Look closely, he might have spilt some. I haven't. Or he put the gulp in afterwards in the edit to make it realistic. That raises problems. I'm sure he has the technical ability in his editing to do that. Whether or not he has the sense for it to occur to him to do that, I don't know. If it didn't, somebody else was involved in editing that, possibly without knowledge of what it was for, or I can't help feeling more likely with a very full knowledge of what was going on. Because we still also have the problems of the parachute. So we've now got two things, not the parachute, the plane. We've now got two things. So I'll move up. Two things. Two. One, he's either an incredibly good actor and far better than we've ever given him credit for, and he can actually hold a mouthful of water and still slurp or pretend to slurp from another fluid without actually spilling the water in his mouth. Well done. He did actually three things. He did actually drink it, and it just looks like he didn't, but he's still alive. He hasn't caught anything from it as far as we know, so lucky him. Or it was put in afterwards. If the sound was put in afterwards, that either he did it himself or somebody else did it. And if somebody else did it, or it was done at somebody else's suggestion, which I think would be more likely, then that person knows something about this video, but we don't know how much. Balance of probability, probably more than they're letting on. Are they knowledgeable enough about the nature of the video to be implicated in a potentially very dangerous charade, to say nothing of the wanton vandalism of an historic aircraft? But it also opens up the view of the aircraft from his parachute when he looks up in free fall and sees the aircraft. And then we looks down from under his chute and the aircraft is way below him. That difference in altitude doesn't make sense. One person has actually commented, take 6 seconds to reach terminal velocity, this sort of thing happens all the time. No, it doesn't. There's a video, I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been on YouTube, it could have been on another platform, it could well have been actually a documentary on telly. I don't know, because I occasionally watch television. But this does not happen. First thing, the aircraft needs to stay away from, or needs to get away from the parachutists before it does anything silly to beat them to the ground. It can be done because it's been done, but it's not something that an unmanned aircraft, certainly this one, would appear to have done. At terminal velocity, you're falling at 176 feet per second, which I did work out, and I have my calculator. 6. I'm not going to try and multiply that by 60 in my head, which is 10,500 feet per minute. His aircraft, we think, was sinking at about 1,000 feet a minute. It certainly wasn't sinking anything like 10,000 feet a minute. It would have fallen apart in the air. We've seen the state of it now. Pre-crash, the rust on the struts and everything else. It would appear that that aircraft was in very poor condition. Would it survive falling vertically, not at an angle, but straight down, plus any horizontal component? Forces on that aircraft would have been absolutely horrendous. To get an aircraft to fall at that speed, I understand that you can't just let it drop out the sky. You have to force it out of the sky. I really want a parachutist, or better still, a parachute plane pilot, to chip in and say, no, it doesn't work like that. The plane, unmanned, we know, will try to fly. It'll do its level best to stay in the air. That's where planes like to be. That's what they are designed to do. And they tend to do it rather well. Otherwise, there'd be an awful lot of dead people. A lot more dead people floating, not floating around the world, but you know what I mean. That's still a problem. I want more debate on that, and I want proper debate on that from people who know, particularly parachute plane pilots. And the last thing addresses the title of the video. What have I found? What can I see? What is this? Again, we'll look at the screen, and there, down underneath his armpit, is a square or a cube of some description. It looks like a very small ceramic heater. Well, it looks very much like my small ceramic heater, though mine is actually considerably bigger than that. It certainly doesn't look to be natural. It could be a Bluetooth speaker, so he took his sound system with him now. What is going on there? That is very clear. That's much clearer than the house. I want to know what that is. And I suspect a lot of other people want to know what that is, because I'm convinced it's not man-made. Sorry, I'll get that right. I am convinced it is not naturally occurring. I am convinced it is man-made, and it's sat there. It's been placed there. What is it? How did it get there? And what does Trev know about it? That's my big question for today. I really desperately want to know what that funny little cube is. Answers on a postcard, or probably more sensibly in the comments, and spread that one around. That needs to be spread around. We want everyone else who's looking at this incident to pick up on that, because I haven't seen anyone pick up on that. People are picking up on the drinking through all the other videos. The other people have picked up on the plane and the horrendous difference in altitude, but nobody mentioned that one yet. It might be completely irrelevant, but it's still interesting. That's it. Let's hope that the Jacob trail goes silent for a while, whilst Trev is investigated thoroughly, and any of his assistants. And when we next speak, with a bit of luck, we will have something definite, something more official to ponder on. And Scooby, whatever his number is, has basically called for the guy to get life imprisonment. I can understand his argument. I just don't think that will happen. But we don't know, and it would be awfully nice to have an update from an authority that's actually involved in the investigation. We ain't going to get it, so it might be quite a long time before we talk about him again, or somebody might spot something in the week and we're off again next week. Take care now. Don't forget to wear your parachute when you go out when you leave the house or get out of bed or whatever. You never know when you might need it. Good idea to carry a fire extinguisher. Carry plenty of water with you. Don't forget to take your lighting kit, your sound kit, and so however many 5, 7, 8, however many GoPros you can get your hands on. The selfie stick's important. What else do you need in a survival kit? A sound guy and a cameraman, a good director. Don't worry about food, that's not important. And drinks probably not important either. Certainly you don't need a map or a compass or any form of navigation, but you must remember to take your production crew. And we'll see you again soon.